not a whole lot different, thank you. The key is really being confident in your show, and my confidence has come in 5 years. It did not happen overnight. I used to have to go in the bathroom and pray before I went out because I would be nervous, and I just asked God to help me through it. So one of the key factors that I did find that helped to make me feel more comfortable was when I would get to my shows, instead of hanging out in the living room waiting for the show to start, I would meet everybody at the door, get them to the table, hang out with them, get to know them, so by the time you get to your show, you've already been talking and developing relationships with them. Makes it a lot easier to do. Now, what I want to show you is I think it's great to have a powerful show and things like that and have fun activities, but what really gets you, or gets me, what has helped me with my business, is how I do things with my business. So I'm going to show you the tips that I've come up with to organize my calendar. I'm going to real quick draw a calendar, okay? Y'all don't make fun. You might need yours. My calendar really has controlled me in the past. So I decided I had to learn how to control it. Y'all with me on that one? And especially, who has kids in here? Kid activities and things like that in your mind all over the place, trying to think of who you got going where and what you're doing, and then when you're doing multiple shows, it's like hard to keep up with. So I had to decide I got to figure this out so that I can keep on top of things and not forget, have I done invitations? Have I done this, that, or the other? Sunday the 7th, so which was the 31st. It's not that important that I have all these on here, but it'll be easier. At the beginning of my business, I used to kind of get flustered because I was thinking, oh shoot, I haven't done this yet. And then I would get stressed out thinking, I only have a few days, or I missed that and I screwed it up, and it's all my fault, blah, blah, blah. You know, we get all right. We blame ourselves, and us women especially, we have too many things to blame ourselves already. Right? Oh, April 30th. Okay. All right, so here's our April calendar. What? Y'all laugh at 30. Well,
we didn't care. It was funny.
whatever. This is my month, okay? That's how I want it to be. All right, so what I did is kind of came up with a calendar system. First of all, I have a calendar like this. This is my favorite kind of calendar in the world. It has the month at a view, which is right here, and then you can flip over to your days. And I needed bigger boxes than Premier had. That's why I did not go with Premier's calendar. However, it'll still give you the same idea. And what I do is basically like my upline had said, you throw everything up on your calendar. And once it's on your calendar, you don't have to think about it anymore. It is here. I don't stress, okay? So what I do with my shows, I'm going to show you based on the daily view, but I only have this to write on. Does that make sense? Okay, so what I do when I book a show, the first thing that I do is I come home and I write on my calendar that I have this person's show. So we're going to do Gail's show. Yay! Okay, so I will put Gail is having a show. And on my monthly view, that's what I see. But I would actually go to April 25th, and I would write Gail, SH, next to it, okay? My SH stands for show, and I'm all on a little short script like this to make it easier. And then I also back up in my calendar 2 days, and I would write her name, and I would put an RC next to it. And so that tells me on that day that I have to do a reminder call to check in with her to make sure she's happy with her jewelry or ready for her show. I'm touching base about when I want to be there and so forth. I go 2 weeks back from her show, and I would write Gail, send invitation, okay, S-I. And so that day, I know that I have to have her invitations out that day. Whether or not I'm a couple days before or after, that's not that big a deal. But I know that if I'm looking in, I have to have her invitations. I have to have a guest list by that point. Or I canceled her, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. I go to the 3 weeks prior to, and I put HC. And that is hostess coach. And so what I do at that point is make sure that she has her hostess packet jacket. I've got everything ironed out. I'm ready to do her stuff. And then I hostess coach her from that point. Well, here's the big deal that I do, okay? I put it all on my calendar, but I have things that I do along with it. All of this stuff is going to come to you through your leaders. When I first put them on my calendar, that's the day after my show or that night or whatever, I send that hostess a letter, and it says, this is your show commitment letter. It tells her everything she needs to know, and the main focus is get me a guest list within the next week, okay? I tell them that because it is very important that you get their guest list up front. And when you send them something like this, it makes them recognize that you're not playing, that you mean business, that this is not a hobby for you. They take you seriously. And it also asks them if for some reason they're going to cancel to please let you know ahead of time. Something that I also do, which I have done for a while now to help increase my jewelry sales, the retail, is I created a hostess with the mostest contest. And one thing I will tell you, if you are ever in lines with people at Rally, talk to them. I got this from one of the top retailers and asked her when I was in a line one time, what do you do for your retail? She told me she's done this contest. I've been doing it ever since. It's great. It keeps the hostesses in a challenge. And so I send this email every time I have a show to let them know, this is my top hostess. Are you going to beat it? Okay? And I coach her that way as well. Now, what I do with my people, I typically book my shows. My shows are 6, 8 weeks out up to, I've got shows in November right now. So I'm booking far ahead. I treat every one of them like their show is tomorrow, okay? Every single Monday, and I do Mondays just because it's the first day of the week and it's easy. Every Monday I get up and I send an email to every person that I have on my calendar that I don't have a guest list for, and I say, happy Monday, ladies. Just wanted to remind you I still need your guest list. Once I get your list, you come off mine. You know, I say something like that, kind of get them to laugh, say something about the weather, whatever's going on. And I keep sending that email, okay? Yes, it may seem like, oh my gosh, this woman won't stop sending emails. But you're in control of your calendar when you do that, and she can't forget about her show. Y'all know those ladies? I forgot. No, you didn't. I've been sending this every month, okay? I know you didn't forget. And so what I also do is when my ladies are on the calendar and their show is coming up and they have not responded to me, I will send them a polite email to let them know, your show's coming up. I have to have your guest list within 1 month prior to your show date. Otherwise, I'm going to have to remove you from my calendar right now. Hope you're doing okay. Love to talk to you. Something like that. If I make phone calls to her, she's not responding. If I've contacted the hostess that I booked her from, not getting anything, and she's not responding to those emails, I send her a little notice that says, I'm canceling your show. Now, y'all, this may seem harsh, but the verbiage is kind. That's the key to it. How you handle it makes all the difference. We're there to serve them, but this is our job. And if they're not willing to get us the information, it's okay to take them off the calendar and just say, when it's better time for you, I'd love to get you back on my calendar. So if I don't have their list 1 month prior, unless there's somebody that booked within the month, I cancel their show. That gives me time to rebook. And that's what keeps me with a calendar that is more steady, that I can keep going, because I'm taking that control and not letting them control me. At the beginning of my business, I needed shows so bad that I would just, you know, you're begging for the shows. Please don't cancel on me. And, well, we've got 10 days. I still got time to get your invitations out. We've got 7 days. We can still get people there. And you know what was going to happen? They weren't having that show, and I could have rebooked it. So it took me about a year to figure that out before I implemented this system. So I will cancel them if they don't follow up with me.
Don't cancel me.
I will cancel you. When I get to the 3rd week right here, when we're 3 weeks prior to the show, I send them an email. Everything that I do is a phone call followed with an email, because sometimes you can't get in touch with people and it's hard to leave a lengthy message. So I email these things on top of. I do not send attachments. I copy the verbiage and put it in the email. They will not open attachments. So this says, Showtime, what do I do now? It goes through every one of the things that will get them bonuses for their show. It talks about simple snacks, having a table, and no alcohol. Everything that you need to tell that lady, if you could not personally speak with her in hostess coaching, she's got it in front of her. Okay, so I send that out when I hostess coach. When I get to the 2 weeks ahead of time, I send her invitations out. Most of my invitations now are electronic. Most people either do Evite or even have me doing Facebook invitations. of it. You're the one controlling it. Evites and Facebooks are actually beneficial because you can see who's looking at them and you can send reminders. I send reminders at 1 week and at 2 days, so I can get back in there and do that. But when that invitation goes out, I will also send an email that says your invitations are out, and aren't you excited about your show? Remember, pre-sales are key to getting the most free, and it goes through our hostess plan to show them yet again how they can get their free jewelry, and I highlight the hostess of the mostest so that she's focused on getting that number, okay? Once my show is held, I do not feel like once you hold your show that you're done, okay? That's a step in the process, but you're not finished. After my shows, I want everybody to know how much I appreciate them. So I actually send an email to everybody that was at the show, because you know at the end of the show, when you're telling that hostess how much free jewelry she has, there may be a few gals left, and they don't get to know how much she's gotten. They don't need to know how much you made either, and they might need to know this stuff. So I send an email to everybody that was in attendance, and it says, thank you for coming to the show. I enjoyed meeting you and so forth. Did you know your friend has already earned this much in free jewelry? You can also help her to get her third bonus or whatever, her booking bonus by hosting a show. All you have to do is give me a date before we close on this date. Things like that. This is how much free you will earn. And so they see the hostess plan again. And here's what I made. If you could use an extra income, I would love to share with you, no pressure. So it's giving a thank you, but it's also following up with all of the numbers that you want to put out in front of people. And the key with doing this business, whether it's sharing through sponsoring or building through hosting shows, you want your name in front of people. You want your numbers in front of people. Because even if they don't talk to you right now, they're seeing it. And as long as they keep seeing it, they remember you as their jewelry lady, and those are the numbers, and I might need to talk to her at some point in time. Now, once my jewelry ships to that lady, what I do then is I send them an email that says, thank you so much for coming to the show. I just wanted to let you know your jewelry is on the way, and your friend will have it on this date. This is highly important because then they know that you didn't take off with their money. She didn't keep your jewelry because you know when she got it, okay? And so that way it takes the pressure off of you. You provided service, and I also go into the golden guarantee, so if there are any issues, please let me know how I can help you with that, okay? After I have sent out that, what I will do when this ships is I will come back into my calendar and I will put Gail and I will put a JC, and this is for jewelry call. And so I do this 15 days after it ships. So I would come back, whatever that time frame is, and 15 days from that, put that jewelry call, and on that day, I call everybody from that show to make sure they're happy with their jewelry. 1 month after that, I will do Gail GC, and that's the guarantee call. And so what I do here, because I do more shows, I don't want to stay on the phone too many times. That sounds terrible, but I'm on the phone for other things. So what I do now is I will put 1 month from the jewelry call. I will send them a little notice that says final follow-up. This is your jewelry lady from Candy's show. Just wanted to let you know we're coming up on your 60-day golden guarantee period. If there are any issues with your jewelry, please let me know. Do y'all know when they're getting a jewelry call, a guarantee call, you're thanking them for being at the show, you're telling them what you're doing, and more than likely, people at that show have somebody's booked the show, so you're doing the same thing for their show and their show. How much your name is out there? They're always seeing your name, and you are their jewelry lady. They remember you and everything you have done for them. And I've had so many people say to me, I've never had anybody call me to check on my jewelry. And y'all, I know I get tons of return exchanges from doing things like that, but I would rather be the one to get that exchange because then they're coming to me, and then I can turn them into something else. Okay, so don't worry about stuff like that. Now,